Okay, so you have made it to Africa, right? So we were talking about wanting to go all these times.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. How has your experience been compared to how you thought it would be?
I'd say basically it's just about where I felt it would be. And you was asking about what I felt about. Did you see my experience?
Yeah.
I was saying, it's, being comfortable here in Africa, like you at home, like you finally got home, you feel kind of relaxed, as though this is the place you should have been a long time ago. This is home, That's the feeling you really get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mother Africa.
Mother Africa.
Yeah, the motherland, huh?
Yeah, right, motherland.
Yeah. Okay, so what have you enjoyed the most? So that feeling?
What I enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough question, and they've got the food, and the amount of food that they give. And I don't think nowhere in America you're gonna get a plate of food like, particularly like we had last night.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Tilapia
Right?
fish, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, we could have fed the whole table with one plate.
That's right. Man.
Yeah.
We could never eat all that much food.
Never.
But they put it, I don't know what the word would be, freely. But with food, man, there's no end to it.
There's no. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
So we visited Jamestown. So tell the people about Jamestown. What was your thought there? Jamestown's like the first settlement here in Ghana. The British or Portuguese, one of them settled the area first.
With Jamestown, basically, even though the people seem to have been happy, there at Jamestown, but the conditions, you never believe, the condition people could exist under those conditions.
Yeah, the poverty.
The poverty. Right?
It's just staggering. That's usually poverty. The word I use now.
Yeah,
staggering.
Yeah. But then when it becomes a way of life, and you don't know much better.
Yeah.
And it ain't so, I'm assuming that the people there, I ain't seen nobody crying about having no poverty.
They not crying. They was going about their day, yeah.
Yeah, they were working and doing what was it, crabs? The crabs?
Crab fishing. There's a fishing community.
Fishing village, and they out fishing, kids swimming and all that stuff.
Yeah, and playing and...
Yeah.
I think what struck me was, well, I watch the kids anyway because I love little children.
Yeah,
but it's just you're in that environment and it's sharp things around and nails and we kind of coddle our children. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to see little toddlers just running freely. You know.
But what was interesting to me was Cape Hope, not the coast. What would you call it?
Cape Coast?
Cape Coast.
Okay, now you're switching. So we're in the slave castle.
Yeah, I'm in the slave capital, right.
Yeah.
But when I looked over there, we was at a fishing village down below the capital, right?
Castle, yeah.
And beyond the fort. And then you see those kids, out there in the ocean.
Yeah.
Man, and I noticed that they wait till a big wave come at them, and then they dive right into the wave. I say, now they ain't really enjoying themselves.
Yeah, they're comfortable in that water.
They're comfortable in that water.
Yeah.
So.
On the ocean, ocean water, that's a different type of. Yeah,
I ain't going too far.
That tide go back, boy, you in trouble. Out there in that water, but they really are comfortable out there.
Yeah, they comfortable. Man.
What did you think about the boats?
The boat? Am I building the boats?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that's really something. He was telling us about the tree, how to get one of those big, I don't know what kind of tree it is.
Yeah.
But they get that big tree and dig it out, and then add to it,
Yeah, that forms the bottom of the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
Yeah, crafty though. That
that's
savvy,
right.
as a people, I think. All right, so wait,
and two, I think we talked about that before, that people came from Africa to the United States and they came with skills.
Yeah.
You know, people don't realize they were craftsmen too.
Mm-hmm.
And like someone was iron workers, you know, and woodworkers and all that stuff.
Yeah, like the saying goes, you know, they didn't come to Africa and steal no slaves. They stole engineers and architects
right.
and
there you go.
You know, and herbalists and agriculture specialists. Yeah, farmers.
Right.
Yeah. He stole people with talent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
On the coastline, they didn't have people who, you know, they didn't go into the deep part of Africa, you know, where somebody might have been living a little bit more primitive. They got the people with skills could do work. So that's
so we were talking about the fort. So what was your experience at the fort? Because that was your first I always say so-called slave castle that you had been in. Mm-hmm. What was your feelings going through there?
Well, you know, when we first went in and they took us to the dungeon, it's kind of hard to believe that somebody could survive being in those dungeon holes, you know, and everything.
With like 200 people in them one little room.
Man. With a place for feces to flow down through there, you know, and the room wasn't built for no 200. It wasn't built for 50. You know?
Right.
So you just can't believe.
What about when they closed the door and you only had that little crack, you know, that little light?
Yeah,
that little air hole
from up above.
Yeah,
the little light. Yeah,
because when you hear about them, you don't really think about. You think about a ventilated room, you know. It's like there's no ventilation. Like this is stone and concrete, and it was that little bitty.
It's just unbearable conditions.
Unbearable conditions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Horrible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did something to me when he closed that door, you know. And y'all had went down, and I don't know. I went back to take some pictures, and I was like down there by myself.
Let me get out of here.
Let me get out of here, man. So you know, I was there for 5 seconds alone. I couldn't imagine.
I thought it would be a little more emotional, but I think that the time of day it was so hot and everything.
Yeah.
That the emotions, I guess, stay hidden when you're trying to. Survive the heat.
Yeah. Think about that. We're talking about surviving the heat, and you know we ain't had no lashes on our back, you know, and and all that, and wasn't showering, and you know they say
down there for a few minutes.
Yeah, we was only down there a few minutes.
Survival mode, you know.
Yeah,
water running all
off your face, and they down there for 3 months, 2-3 months, you know, at a time. Like that is. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
All I can say, it takes somebody special to survive it.
Yeah.
So everybody survived. It was special.
Going through that. And like you say, if they died, they just go throw the body in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just oh my God, what horrific people. What type of person would do something like that?
Like,
and then what about right above the dungeon? So. In the so-called slave castles.
Oh, the church was?
Yeah, above the dungeons is where they hold the churches.
Yeah, how can you worship your Savior, you know?
Yeah.
And then have somebody down below you. Like I was saying, you know, it was like heaven and hell.
Yeah.
The church up above and the dungeon up below. You
Yeah.
know? So maybe that's where the concept came from, about heaven and hell. You know, if you were a slave, you was in hell.
They was clearly in hell.
Yeah.
You know. And the people that need to go is up there above them.
Right.
Boy, that is just something terrible. And then you're walking through the castles and, you know, they got all these scriptures on the wall and notes to the governor. And he's, such a noble and honest man. And you're sitting around capturing people. Like, you know, and
well, we call it people. They would call it chattel, right?
I don't care what they call it.
Right. I'm just saying something that
I call them
what they owned.
I call them terrible. You know, I don't call them slave masters. I call them what they are: murderers, killers, rapists.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You know, just the scum of the earth. Yeah. That's who they are, and I refuse to honor and respect them like they try to force us with their language and their educational system. I refuse. That is just unbelievable. Yeah. All right, door of no return. What was your thoughts there?
Like I said, the door of no return. You know, it's. I'm just assuming that the people went through the door of no return, didn't know they were going through the door of no return.
Yeah.
They could not get on the boat because I think this is the first time probably in history where somebody was separated. Because most times during slavery, the family. You work for the people, but they didn't split the family up, or something like that. So going through that,
and
you have no idea. You ain't gonna never come back and see.
Yeah, you wouldn't
see your place ever again.
Ever again. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't have no idea. Okay, leading up to that though, what I thought was particularly powerful was when they were saying, if they didn't die in battle, when they was trying to capture them, then if they didn't die on the trek, the walk there, it's not like they put them on the bus,
right?
So they had to walk. So if you didn't die there, and then when you get there, they do the, all the violence that they was doing. If you didn't die there, then if they didn't die in the cells, if they didn't commit suicide somehow, and then, those are the people that made it through all of that, that had to get on the boat. And then if you didn't die in the sea during the journey, like
another,
what an amazing type of people it has to be. But I love how they spun it, where it was that DNA of those strong people is alive and well in us today. So, it's just, what do you think about it?
They definitely had to be strong. No doubt about that. They had to, I'm assuming, they had to be God's children.
I don't know how else you survive it,
Had to be God's children.
Because that was just unbelievable. And they say that experience kind of hits you more when you get home and then you reflect on it.
Yeah.
Because I know some people had the emotions down there, and I'm with you. I didn't really have the emotions either, but I think I was just in shock, just stunned. Yeah, so I guess that is an emotion, shock. It's stunned. But I was expecting, like people talk about they tear up and, that type of thing.
It's like they could feel the essence of somebody's spirit that would have been still there,
I could feel the energy there, but I don't know. Maybe I don't cry much. I don't know.
Probably the reason I didn't. Bad leg.
Worried about your knee, huh?
Right. You don't have things kind of reflect on it. When you barely making it.
I think ironically, it made me feel stronger. I guess you build up a sense of pride because it's kind of like we're under Trump and everybody's talking about the sky's falling, and you get there and you think like, man, these people endured this. Like, it's gonna be all right. It's not really that bad, And clearly we got the warrior spirit in us, because if that's the DNA, like they say, that's the DNA that flows through your body. That's the blood that's in us. So I think we'll be all right.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't survive 400 years, so.
Yeah, or more.
Or more.
American bullshit.
It's in survival mode.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
No. I just said that. Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something.
No. I spoke my piece.
I spoke my piece. All right. Well, I just wanted to make sure I captured some of your thoughts on video. What else did I want to ask you? What do you think about the people? Just overall, the people here we're in Accra, Ghana now.
Yeah, well, throughout the city of Accra, I don't think we've ever met anybody who wasn't friendly, smiling, So I mean, that was a positive thing, for the people of Accra.
They're very welcoming.
Yeah.
Quaba, right?
Right, welcoming quality, So like I say, I felt pretty comfortable amongst them, Like I say, felt like I'm home,
Yeah. I know. I was telling you, I went out running, and I'm just comfortable running, and then it's like, well, all right, let's not go too far, get too comfortable, but it's just it really puts you at ease here. I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's just being around all Africans, and I don't know. It's just a good feeling, a good vibe in the city.
Yeah, it is.
It's not the richest country, the people don't have the most, but they seem to be happy.
Yeah.
The driving is absolutely insane.
Oh. one thing about the people in Accra reminds me of the people in Puerto Rico, and Sean verified that, you know, and that is that they got their driver's license in New York, man. Everybody stay on the horn, you know, and, they be taking chances, you know, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You know, so as I was running,
no such thing as being cut off because everybody
cut off.
Not even a word.
That's part of driving. Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm driving.
Exactly. Yeah,
but
cut off.
This morning running, it dawned on me. I'm watching the traffic, and you know, of course, I'm being a typical American, stopping at the corners, you know, because they just walk. I mean, the drivers are wild, but the pedestrians are wild too. They just walk out in front of cars.
When we first got here in Accra, and I told you this amputee.
Yeah.
He was a double amputee, and he was sitting there on that scooter. And I looked, and the traffic was moving. You might have missed that part.
Yeah.
He went to skating, and he went right on through the traffic, right on the other side. I said, boy, that takes a lot of courage, you know.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you in the car, you probably wouldn't even see him down below. You know,
okay, yeah.
But
that was his first rodeo.
Evidently, he had a lot of practice, you know.
Yeah.
So, it didn't feeze him in the least, man. Because when he got to the other side, it looked like he might want to come back through.
He had some fun, playing in traffic. Yeah. One of the so my analogy for running while I was running, watching the traffic.
Yeah.
It was it's almost, you ever watch ants? You know how
but
you know how ants all move. It's like sometimes they be sporadic, but then it's like they start getting in lockstep. And it's like one big organism all working together. Yeah. That's kind of how the traffic is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it don't make sense to us, but they're clearly all working together.
Yeah. You know, I was Dr. Juice Pookum. She always used to say about ants are, you know, responsible. If you don't believe it, you just check an ant farm. And that is that everybody has a responsibility, you know. And if you don't fulfill your responsibility as an ant, you know, it's over, you know. And we don't need you because you ain't you ain't carrying your share. We got no place for you. You know,
you can't be eating the food up.
Everybody bringing something back, and you gonna think you gonna come back and eat it. No. Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy because she always mentioning that about Anthony ain't bringing nothing back. And that's basically like society, you know. Everybody got to do something. You ain't think you're going to get a free ride.
Yeah.
When the feast time comes, you're going to get your knife and fork. You ain't brought nothing back.
What you doing with that knife and fork? Off with your head.
Yeah, that's funny, though. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta ask you about Nkrumah. So we went to the mausoleum and Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh yeah.
To the mausoleum and his museum and the park and all that.
Yeah, I was surprised. Kwame Nkrumah. I was talking about, you know, I was probably somewhat of a socialist, you know, with the rest of them, but him and Bobby Du Bois and Fidel Castro and Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Ben Bella, you know, all of them, you know, and that was all in that. I think part of it back to the castle, and then over to Du Bois' place over there, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and this is a place that when somebody come to Accra, they gotta go to see Du Bois. You gotta go to the museum.
Yeah. That was
so it's impressive.
That was impressive.
And it's a learning lesson. You learn, you know.
Yeah. And we didn't spend a long time in there, but we could have did a whole day in there.
Oh yeah, easily, because there's so much, you know.
Especially just looking through his bookshelf, like that was.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
All the books. I was saying, man, you could tell he was well read, man.
Yeah. So, you know, some people have a lot of problems with Du Bois, you know, but it.
Well, you know, that goes back to that Du Bois Booker T. Washington thing.
Yeah.
You know, I asked that.
Was there anything about Booker
and
T?
she pointed up over the door there.
Yeah.
And evidently, whatever the friction was, Booker T was up over the door. You come in there, you wouldn't know he was in there. You know, he wasn't on the wall, but he was up over the door. You know. So.
I think W.B. Du Bois, which I never knew his name. That was interesting learning his name.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but I think he evolved. He evolved over time.
I'm quite sure
So,
he did.
you know, he had that friction early. That was earlier in his existence.
Right.
And, you know, because that was before he was a Pan-African.
Right, that's right.
You know, he wasn't talking that then.
Right. Because if he hadn't evolved, I doubt that he would have wind up here dying in Accra.
Yeah, no way.
No way, because
he wouldn't have wanted
that wasn't him.
Yeah, he was on like some elitism, talent and tip.
Part of that talent and tip.
Yeah, and all of that. But then, you know, when he started talking about, global Africans, he seemed to kind of release that. But his legacy, I just noticed people are hemmed in on, the earlier part of his life. Mm-hmm. They don't really talk about him as a Pan-Africanist. The discussion circles. I'm not saying what the world says.
Yeah.
Because obviously they over here, they respect him enough. Mm-hmm. But you don't hear much about him being a Pan-Africanist, at all in the States. I don't think.
Was there a picture of Kwame Ture in there?
I think
Stokely
so.
Carmichael. Yeah.
I don't think Stokely. Oh yeah, Kwame Ture. yeah. I feel like there was in one of them. Maybe it was in a book or something that I looked.
Yeah, or maybe up to the castle there.
The castle. The castle is something totally different.
Yeah. I'm just saying the pictures. They had some pictures up there. People who weren't. It wasn't about slavery. It was about
What are you talking about? All right, the castle. Right, we're not talking about the castle. So you're talking about W.B. Du Bois or Kwame Nkrumah's place? Which one?
I'm talking about Kwame and Nkrumah. There was two places where we saw him. One was up there to what do you call it again?
Two places we saw who?
All of those leaders, socialists.
Okay, so you're talking about the museum at Kwame Nkrumah's place, and then the museum at W.B. Du Bois.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Good. You threw in castle. You threw me off. Like I didn't know.
Well, I keep saying castle, but it's what they call it, fort.
That's a whole different city. The castle, the fort. There was no. That was the slave castle, the dungeons, the water.
But the name but it had a name of that, and the name it gave it a fort name. Check it out.
Where? Well, I'm confused.
Both places were forts. Ask what you're talking about.
So W.B. Du Bois' place was a fort? That was his house.
No, I'm talking about the name of the place, the dungeon and thing.
Cape Coast Castle?
Yeah, but they had a fort. Ask what you're talking about. They had a fort. They called it a fort.
I'm confused as to what this has to do with Kwame Ture and those pictures.
No, I wasn't talking about Kwame Ture. I said something else.
You're skipping around, man.
No, I had to ask about. I seen a picture up there. I said, was he up there in that picture with all those world leaders? That's what I was asking. I saw him somewhere. I don't know whether Du Bois' place or up there at what's called. But Castro and all of them took a picture of. They had
all right, okay, I'm back. You back with me
at the fort. At the fort.
When we drove 3 hours to the fort,
right,
you saw some pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did you see these pictures? I didn't see them. Oh, in the museum section.
In the museum section.
All right. I'm the slow one here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, my memory getting a little old.
No, you was in there. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me all lost there. I totally forgot. We did spend a lot of time in that museum too.
Yeah, we did.
I don't remember him being in there, but I feel like they talked about.
I know they had a lot of world leaders, pictures of world leaders,
Yeah.
the same as they did at Du Bois. Cause
Yeah.
Like I said, they had all of world leaders, at that time.
Yeah, they had a lot of
Socialist
stuff
leaders,
there. Yeah. Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, I missed that one up.
Yeah. Well, let me get up here.
All right.